Hello, hi, and welcome to another game development stream. So, we are now on the 15th stream. I'm fairly certain, unless I've been getting my count wrong. I might be getting my count wrong. But yeah, let's just jump right into it. So, where we left off last time, we got the shop working. We got 29 out of 30 perks working. We've got all the AI working at a base level, but I do want to improve it. And the thing I've got to do now is get bullet split to actually work, because at the moment it doesn't work. And I was looking at like, oh, how can I get this to work? And some people were saying rotators, so we're gonna have a quick look at that. Play character. No, it'll be damage. And once again, Unreal's being laggy and jittery for me. I don't know why it does that sometimes. It's not even like it's taking up more resources or anything. It's just deciding to run like shit. Actually, why can't I see my GPU performance on there? That's odd. Alright, well, whatever. Last time it was nice and smooth, today it's jittery as fuck. Why? Who knows? Let's roll with it. God, that's really bad. Damage. So in the weapon component, we had the section... where is it? So we were checking if they had bullet split, and then we were doing bullet split, which is the first hit actor. So he gets to have actor forward vector. So we want to get the camera rotation. Hmm. Random empty node there. See, what we want to do is we want to get. God, this is actually spaghetti code at the moment. Jesus. I'm struggling to make heads or tails of my own code. We want it to shoot out behind the actor. So we can get vector. That can be the start point. If we do the same thing, I'm just going to do this so I can split this one. No. So if we get the vector and multiply by float like 500. Well, we don't want that either, though, because what that's going to do is it will always come out the enemy's back. What we want it to do is we want it to come from where the bullet hits. So that means the impact point is split stat. And impact point is also, yeah, so impact point needs to be where it starts. Get split stat, and then the split stat. Just do that. And we're going to max perk. Do we even have the code implemented for bullet split? I don't think I do. So bullet split, God, Jesus. Depends on if this variable is true. And I think it's just a single level. Let me check the data table. Bullet split. No, it's 10. It's a chance percentage, but I don't think I've actually got it set any chance at the moment. No, I don't. So we need to... If bullet split is enabled, we also need to get the bullet split level. So rather than doing 2, I'm just going to do this. Change this to a integer. No, float. We'll go float. How would we better integer? We'd be better as an integer, I reckon. And is greater... If it's greater than 0... Same for up here. it's get bullet split greater than 0, will happen. And for simplicity's sake, because this is a pain in the ass, I have to do it twice, I'm just going to do it in here, where it will check if it can. So what it's going to do, it's going to get bullet split. It's going to do a random integer uniformly distributes a random number between 0 and the max minus 1. So we want this to be 100. So it's 0 to 100. And if this is less than bullet split, less or equal, so this will basically be, rather than bullet split question mark, this will be bullet split chance. So this random integer, if it falls in, let's say this at first it's 10. So if it falls in within 10, it will set that to be that. So now we just got to add the code in for it to actually update, because I don't think we have. Nope, we have not. And I guess it'll be similar to updating buff bullets. Or maybe regen delay. Bullet Storm. It'll be similar to updating Bullet Storm. So I'm going to duplicate that. Update bullet split. And just so I don't mess it up, I'm just going to copy it from here. That way I don't cock it up. So it's going to query that perk. No N words. I didn't say the N word. I said cock it up. You listening to something else in the background? Because I didn't say that. Oh, sounded like it. Okay. Trying to think what I said that even sounded like it, to be honest. But yeah, unless dogs barking is similar. Yeah. Oh no then. But yeah. So yeah, we got the I've lost my train of thought now. We got bullet split. That goes into that max that perk. You don't want to update that perk. So we're gonna max the perk. Oh, we do want to actually update that perk. We want to just update the correct perk. Yeah, I'm just making a note. I want to go back and check that part of the stream, just make sure like I didn't say anything, but I'm pretty sure I didn't. But that's all. I'm just gonna check over it, see what like might have been misconstrued as that. So we got max bullet split. We got. Need to update that perk, which is there. Gonna get rid of that. Get rid of that. I can't help but keep jumping from project to project. Yeah, I've had to stop doing that myself. It's very difficult to, but it ends up happening a lot. Back when I just finished uni, I would consistently jump from like small projects and didn't get anywhere. Yes, I downloaded this aerodynamics asset and I made a little editor for the player to make a plane. Oh, that's really cool. That is. So you can make your own plane that you can fly around with. So does it like actually? So you're saying it's like using an aerodynamics pack? Does that like actually take into account like the shape of the plane and everything? So you have to make it look decent. So many good concepts, but I can't complete all. Yeah, that happens. I'd say my advice for that is just try and put it in perspective of if you don't finish a project, you can have like a bunch of projects that are half finished, but if you don't finish one, it kind of doesn't showcase your work as well, you know? Simple Planes or Kerbal. I haven't played much of Kerbal Space Program, but split. Set split chance. Aerodynamics specs is going to be planes of 4 points. Can do calculations based on quick angles, attack angles, dragon lift, and whatnot. It's not, and it's very realistic. That's pretty. Sounds like a pretty good asset. That. I can't remember. Are you using Unity or Unreal? I think I remember last time you said you were using Unity. Ah. Well, I guess I'm not getting ever being able to use that asset then, unless I learn Unity. That sounds like a pretty fun asset to play around with. I did actually have a quick look through the Unreal Asset Store. You start porting your project to Unity to see it's easy to work in Unity and Unreal. It's, for me, it'd probably be easier to work in Unreal because I know Unity does have visual scripting, but it's not as it's more like a third party asset thing, and the base implementation isn't super great. And I don't know anything about coding. This whole blueprint looks overcomplicated for bullet split. Yeah, it probably is. It definitely is. It's, to be fair, I'm probably not doing it the best way. I'm just doing it how it makes sense to me. But this is just like leveling up the perk for the chance. And the reason it's like all like this is because if I just say like, oh hey, it's leveled up, increased by 10, is let's say you do this one here, which is the max. It only levels it up by 10, even though it should set it all the way to full. Because it will only run this once. Whereas I want to, with this, it will be like, okay, it gets, what level is it? Okay, it's level 9. Bam, sets to 90. But yeah, I do think in many ways, actual learning how to code will probably solve a lot of problems. There's a lot of workarounds that you have to do with blueprints that feel a bit janky because you can't just directly write the code. You code in there. I got my words somewhere there. Coding Unity is easy. Just watch tutorials, but don't live off them. Use them for inspiration solutions. I do want to give it a chance and actually like learn how to properly code. It's just I'm very limited on my time at the moment to do that. And at the very least, first I want to get this project done with, and then I might look into it. But it's something I've always wanted to try. Because I've heard it's like, well, I know it's like one of the best ways to make games do exactly what you want is to code them. Whereas Unreal, it always kind of feels sometimes like you've got to figure out how to make the engine work for you. Which sometimes feels like you're doing. It might be the best way of doing it, but it feels like a janky workaround on Unreal. Okay. Weapon component. But yeah, I also know that like you shouldn't like just watch tutorials, and you should like try and make your own things, because otherwise you get stuck in that tutorial hell section of game development where you can make things, but only if someone tells you how to do it. Because he says, I'm self-taught. Ways aren't most optimized, but they work. To be fair, I'm self-taught with Unreal, and I wouldn't mind that. Actually, that sounds pretty fun. But again, it's just a time thing at the moment. Maybe in the future, I'll take you up on that offer. But for now, I'm just focusing on this project. Once this is out the way, though, I'd be up for that, or at least like more up for it. Where it start? So it has a chance if it's within that radius. It does that. Goes forwards. That times 5. I just want to even see if this works as like a base. I just want to at first get the thing going behind the enemy, and then work on rotate, rather behind where I shoot, and then work on rotating it. So I think it's keyboard L. Oh wait, hang on, I plugged it in. I haven't plugged it in. Event graph, update perks. I have this innate sense to teach. I like to go into depth on how things work and give you tools to recreate yourself as been on your own thing. If you have a innate sense to teach, you do like YouTube tutorials then. Because if you have a innate sense to teach, that might be right up your alley. Up the bullet split. But yeah, I'd love to learn Unity at one point, even if it is trying to set itself on fire. Bullet split. Nope. There we go. Go past save. Put that. Let's try this again. Press L. Huh. I mean, kind of. It's not exactly. It's not exactly the way I wanted it to, but. So I think that comes from me just multiplying it by 500 in every direction. But how do... How do... Like, when I shoot a bullet anyway in Unreal... Why can't you use math, like split chances 100 on level 1 but higher subtract by level? That's basically kind of what I've done in a more like... Is not math way, but... So what I've done here is I've got... So this is the random integer is 100, and this is the chance. And effectively it is kind of like using a level. Either way, I've got to set a integer. So I find it's easier to just set the level integer to just be the chance integer. So if it's below 10, if it's a 10% chance, it'll be this and this, like, or less, 10 or less on this, or this gets minus by 1, so it'll be like 9 or less. So anything from 0 to 9. That the lesser equal than node. Yeah, kind of, isn't it? It's a pretty cute node. This thing's fairly useful. It kind of looks like a little smiley face. But I think the random integer to the bullet split, that's a fairly... I think this is fine. Is again, doing it via math is probably a bit better, but this is since I've got to update a integer anyway, I might as well just set that to be the chance percentage. And that just changes based on the level that goes into it. So when I go, I'm just trying to see. So when I do firing, I get the world location, which goes into there. And then it's the location plus the forward vector from the camera. So I need to do something similar. So if we get that, and we go to bullet split, and we get the forward vector. Oh no, is Unreal blueprints are funky. Like in Unreal, it's 1 plus 1 plus 1, while in Unity it's 1 times 4. You can do multiplication in Unreal. Struggle getting simple. So yeah, it's a very weird way of doing things. A lot of the time in this, and the only reason I use this more so than something like Unity is because I learnt this in college. This is kind of what we got taught. So, yeah, it's just kind of... And then we'll go L. Nope, that's still not what we want. Or is it? I mean, it's kind of what I want in a weird way. I do want it to split out in a sideways direction, but it's going in this one linear direction. I need it can make things very short. Unreal is very stretched out. Yeah. Also, Unreal is very can get very messy, as you can see with this spaghetti. Like, I made this and I keep forgetting what it does. It's Can be a bit pain. But for the most part, the thing is, I think Unreal's got a fairly low barrier to entry because you genuinely don't even you don't need to know how to code. Well, can't you mix C++ with Blueprint? Yeah, the problem is I don't know C++. That's the problem. Because you can make... Yeah, I can make scripts a lot easier with C++. I know you can mix it, but I genuinely have no idea how to code outside blueprinting. The two engines I've used in my education at college and university was Unreal Engine, which uses visual scripting, and Construct 3, which also uses visual scripting. They didn't want to teach us coding because it takes they said it will take quite a while for us to get decent at. Whereas something like this is once you get your head around the nodes, is relatively simple to kind of drop in. Coding is exactly that funny letter in maths that you end up hating. Yeah, I know it's like X, if X equals Y kind of thing. It's once you do coding, those letter variables in math makes much more sense. They probably do, but I always hated algebra. It's like my least favorite part of math. But I do genuinely I mean, I used to have to look up a tutorial for every single thing I did in Unreal. It's like, oh, I want to make an attack. Okay, I've got to look up a tutorial for that. Oh, I wanted to damage the player. Got to look up a tutorial for that. And nowadays, I'm more capable of just making a system myself. Don't need that. Need that. So, but and I imagine it's a very kind of same thing with coding. It's just once you learn it, it's kind of you get going. That's how I was at uni. Yeah, it's you start off not being able to really you start off struggling to do anything by yourself and starting with tutorials, and eventually you just kind of learn it. And I'm hoping that'll be the same with coding. It's just at the moment I want to focus on getting this done. Like I said, I was self-taught, used tutorial for 2 to 3 months. When my wings found out my own made solution to my own problems. Yeah, honestly, it's saying like being self-taught is it's not that different from being taught at uni or college. Let me just tell you that. Maybe it's different for like actual programming languages, but at least for what I learned with Unreal, majority of that was still self-taught. Like the majority of what I learned, we had to teach ourselves effectively through YouTube tutorials. I'm plugging the right camera rotation into the forward vector times that. I mean, it's in rotation, get forward vector. I don't think it's doing what I want it to. The difference is, notice between me and taught from school, is they do a lot extra for what I do in a short way. Yeah, I think because they try and do things in like a very... They'll probably try and do stuff, I'm guessing, in like a very like structured and linear kind of format, which may be potentially more modular. That might be why it takes a bit longer, but that depends on how you use the system, though, doesn't it? Where it gets the forward vector. Oh, and it adds it to right. That's why. I forgot to add it to this. I think they do it more optimized way because I find their systems breaking, but being more performant. Yeah, it's probably more complicated, but because it's more complicated in a like they've done it in a certain way that is more optimized, as you said. So if we go L, hey, okay, there we go. So that's actually shooting forwards from the camera, which is what we want. Now we just need to rotate that left or right. How do I do that? So I think make rotator. I prefer my games working than performing well. And that's fair. I'd say making a game works. I tend to make my systems modular and not lag a PC. Well, that's the kind of best way of doing it, isn't it? It's like you make it modular and then can I split? Nope. Speaking of which, this is probably going to be like the most unoptimized way of doing this. I tried to make my systems in Unreal relatively drag and drop, so that if I want to add the functionality to something else, it'll be fairly easy to. It's why I don't like doing a lot of like let's say the enemy. I'm not a massive fan of the way I've done let's say the way they receive damage, because there's a lot of code I have to keep replicating between the player between each enemy. And I know I could use like a parent and then have the enemies as like a child, but then you have like problems with that approach as well. Design things with decent modern hardware in mind and not a Windows 7 computer in mind. Yeah, that's fair. I don't think I think most people probably design that like stuff with more modern stuff in mind. I mean, Unreal Engine 5, I don't think a lot of things made on this engine, even like lower end stuff, runs super well on anything below like a Windows 8 era computer. So what we're going to do is we'll get this forward vector and we're going to make it into a different rotator by slightly changing. I think we want to change the roll. So we're going to add... If we add 90, I'm hoping what this will do is it will make it go out 90 degrees to the right or left. I'm not sure. And then we want to get forward vector of that rotator and put it in this. And then we plug it in that. And I'm hoping this works. So we go L. And naturally it didn't. Oh, hang on. Kind of. Again, it's doing that thing of it will shoot it off in a random direction. So what if rather than adding, we multiply by like 10 and see if what that does to it. Need to give myself the perk. Oh, hello. He's behind me. He's shooting me. Nope. Man, with Unity, that enemy class can just be one script. Put every on every enemies that need to make alternative different enemies. And if you want to make a variant of a script, Unity literally lets you do that with script extensions. Makes it so much easier. There's something kind of similar with this. So the way I did it is probably the worst way of doing it, actually. Because what I should have done is I should have made a base enemy class like this, and then make a child blueprint class. And then this has can have its own variations of the code with its own events on top. And that's what I should have done, but I didn't because I'm an idiot. And I might go back and change that later, but for now, I've only got 3 enemies, so it works. I don't know what you're doing, but as I see, I take the hit point and then get direction and use the angle rotations to make cone spread. I don't know how to do that in this. Can I do cone spread? No. That's kind of what I'm. So what this is the rotation from the so this is where it starts. This will be where the new line trace starts, which is the impact point from where I hit the enemy. And then it will go from the forward, it will get the camera rotation. It will get the player's camera and do another line trace from that. Actually, I'm curious. Will this just mess up even if I? So if I take that, if I take that off, and do L. But if I plug it direct, hang on a minute. If I plug it directly in there, can I split this? Oh, I can. And I plug that directly in. See, that's doing what I want to, and then I want to rotate that. Okay, brainstorming. I don't know if this works in Unreal. This is some Unity talk. Okay. So I don't need to get the forward vector. That's the mistake I'm making. I'm getting the forward vector. I want to split this. I think the only way I can split is by making it a local variable. Hang on, what's for local rotation? Adds delta to the rotation of a component. No, that's not what I want. Local add. But can't you make a vector free and randomize between the spread? A vector free and randomize between the spread you want on the Z and Y, and bam, you shoot your A cast from an angle and hit position. I don't know if I know enough about vectors to do that. I do. I know we have. Do we have vector free? We only seem to have. Maybe it's probably because I put with space. Now we only have vectors like this, but these are like a 3D vector. And you randomize between the spread you want on the Z and Y. What's he saying? So getting this and multiplying it by that will shoot the raycast forwards. And I need to randomize. Do you mind voice chatting? Yeah, can do. Do you have a Discord? I'm guessing. me just boot up my... my Discord's dying. Okay, let me boot up Discord. User is Brucey. Do you want me to mute the audio on the stream for the desktop? All... trying to... How do I add friends here? I sent you a friend request. My picture's Senna from Xenoblade, so it's not actually my... I don't know, I don't need chat here. Alright, I'll mute the desktop audio then, so... Where is it? Nope. Nope. That's the button. There we go. My Discord use thing is not... So is your name on this just B with like a bunch of dots? Is that you have added as a friend? Oh. Hello? Oh, hang on. Hello? Nah, that's alright. So what do you reckon's the problem? Okay. Yep. Yeah, it's line trace in this. Yep. Okay. Kind of like the end point. Oh, okay. That I want it to go out from. Yeah. Okay. See, the problem I'm having with doing that is, so let's say I've got so the impact point I've got here would be the split start vector. So this is where like it hits the enemy. And if I was to get this and the only way I know of like sending it further forwards is to have like a forward vector, which is kind of like the direction of it, and multiply it by so much, which is what I've done here with the camera rotation. That's how I like to go forwards at a base. And to get like the rotations, I'm not entirely sure how to do that, because if I was to like add a random, I guess it actually, I suppose it would just be like multiply x and y by like a random value, wouldn't it? Like the same value but like a random value. So I can try that. Well, if you I don't know how it works in Unity, but if for a line trace in Unreal, the start value and the end value, that's like you get the start and the end of both different points, and that causes the line. Okay. It's 2 in the morning, jeez. Over here it's like 10 a.m. Okay. Yeah, that's a little bit. Yeah, that's a little bit different how Unreal does it. Unreal isn't. Unreal is not so much like you start here and you shoot off in a direction. It's more like you start from here and you go to here. So that's the kind of difference, I think, with the engines. Similar but slightly different, I think. Yeah. I will cast off there. I think I can try and do something like that. I'll try. So I'll try and randomize the. If I get random. No, that's not. Get random float. That's what I want. Yeah, yeah, that's kind of how the first line got made. I'm just trying to think of like nowhere. Random float. Wanna get that, and then just. So you're saying for like for this endpoint, if I split these, so it's easier to. Nope, not what I wanted. Did the wrong thing. If I split that struct pin, split that. Unreal. Yeah, so in Unreal, the z-axis is up, the y-axis is this way, and the x-axis is that way. They've kind of changed around with some of it for some reason. No one's really sure why. Mind you, every program kind of does this. They always have like a weird ways of doing the XYZ coordinates. Don't want plug that in there. The fourth dimension. What'd you do with that? I've never even heard of Quaternion. .4D 4D cinemas, I guess. I'm not entirely sure myself, to be honest. So we want to multiply that by, I guess, 1,500. I'm just going to give this a go and see if hopefully this works. But at least, like, gives it a slightly randomized thing, and then I can clamp that to be in a certain... Nope, still always goes to the end at the same point. It's a completely randomized thing, though. It literally shouldn't. You think? Yeah, I set this to like 100. See, in Unreal, it's the reason why I think it's slightly because by the sounds of it in Unity, when you do a cast, it just goes off based off like here's a starting point, there's a direction, and it just goes in that direction. Whereas in Unreal, it's kind of like you're setting the start and end point of that exact. So you got to find. I think the reason it's a bit more annoying in this is because I've got to find that exact endpoint that I want it to go to. And I have no idea how to do that. Yeah. Go random float. So we've got the forward vector of the camera plus that. Add. I don't want to add them all together. Do that plus that. Just want to see if maybe this will give me a different result. Okay, that's not making it go super far, but it's not shooting off. It's actually kind of going in the... So what if I multiply it instead of adding? It's getting there. It's not... Yeah, so I might get random float. I might try, rather than multiplying it in that, I'm going to multiply it before I add it. I reckon that might be a bit better. So multiply this by, I don't know, 100. See how that works, if it works. Kind of. It's shooting off in a different angle. Just not as sharp of an angle as I would like. So what if I skip the add step and try multiplying the floats like that itself? Okay. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at this. Get the player controller, get the hit result under cursor by channel. Get unit direction variable, so break the hit result from the character to that output, and then they multiply. So I am kind of on the right basis of multiplying the X and Y by so much, by the looks of that. So I think... Hang on. That's kind of... I think I might have actually got it. So that time it went there. It kind of... It goes off like... Yeah, it goes off a random angle now. So what if rather than like a random float, it's just straight up 500? Because I want to see how far that goes. I think that kind of has the same problem of... I need to make that line trace a different colour so I can actually tell which one's which. It's getting confusing. Trace colour, we'll set that to turquoise. And is that like in both of them or? Yeah, they make debugging pretty simple and Unreal. As I say, it's like it's a fairly simple engine to get into, but it's a lot harder to get more. The more complicated of a mechanic you want to get in, then it becomes like full of annoying workarounds. I wouldn't even say this. This shouldn't even be that complicated, but it just seems to be. So it's... No, it's not really working. It's close, but I think But that's because I'm getting the X and Y, which will stay... No, the X and Y should be different. No, it's not different because it's... The X and Y won't be different because the camera... No, it will be. But if I did it by random float, that kind of worked. Yeah, that might be a problem, actually, yeah. Let's randomize that, set that as a... promote to local variable. Random val. Plug that in there, and then we'll plug that into these. Yeah, that was something I was doing before, so it's probably coming out with weird results. Oh, I'm in the floor. that's what happens if you spawn in the floor. It just comes up with a bunch of errors. Let's try that. That one's gone over there. That one's gone over there. That one's gone over there. I mean, it is kind of working. It is splitting off in like a random direction now. So that's relatively working. Yeah, I'm just gonna... Before I do that, I'm gonna set the player's damage to be like 0 so the enemies don't die within like 2 seconds. Think that's in... Oh god, where'd I store the damage? This project's gone on so long, I keep forgetting what's where. Stats. Nope, I think it's in the weapon component. Yeah, it's... Variables. I just can't remember where it is, to be fair. I think it's in the status component. I've got a few components that I probably don't need, but it's because of the way I made this. If I made it more simple, it would be better. I'm looking now. Oh, it is on the... I think it is actually on the player. It's just down... Ah, here it is, yeah. So we've got that kind of... It's in the details panel of the characters. So if I want to go... Provided I actually put it in here, which I didn't. Whoops. So I guess it's in the status component. Damage, here we are. Set that... No, it should be in there. What? Am I just looking wrong? The damage should literally be in here, but I can't find it. Yeah, I just haven't done it. Actually, is there? No, I don't think there is. Not for these. There is for some things. So like all these down here, I can categorize these variables. But it's because the variables over in somewhere else. When I fire, it gets the damage from the status component. So it is the status component, which... here we are, I found it. It's because I had to click on the status component part of it. So it just gets that to 1. Actually, we're going to go even lower, 0.1. So it's going to do like next to nothing. So it seems to be that whenever I shoot, like, it kind of goes relatively in the same kind of direction. So if I shoot from this angle, it will go, like, around that kind of way. And if I shoot from, like, this angle... Let me guess if I shoot from this angle... Ooh. But will it go that way if I shoot from here? No, so it always wants to go towards the point of origin point of the world, which is over here. The question... I'll pretend I know what that is. What, so like from the character? Maybe, yeah. Because it should be getting a forward vector, adding this distance to it, which gets like the length. And then this is the start point. What if I don't multiply it there and just do that? What happens then? Direction of where I hit and the angle. Well, this is the direction, and this is where I hit. But what, the forward direction and... Alright. So, split this. Because I want the Z to stay basically the same. Let's get rid of that. Drag that down here. That's because I got rid. That's what I don't really want it to go up and down. That's because I've locked the Z value to be the same. I do actually want that to stay basically the same. So, and need to plug that into there. Oh, actually, that might have been why it wasn't plugged in. Let's try that. So L. Nope. Always loves going. So why? Yeah. Now it's just going directly to that point. Let's try randomizing the Z as well. I don't know if that will do anything, but it could. It's always possible. Let's plug that in. Yeah, neither do I. Nah, it's always going down to that area. So I got the... But that's not where I've hit, is it? That's why. Ah, yeah, I think I know why. So this camera rotation is just the rotation of the camera. I want to... This here is where I've actually hit. So it starts here and it goes... So I think the problem is this value here is too low. So it thinks it's at the world origin. But... How do I... So when I shoot like a normal bullet, I get the first person character, the world location, plus the forward vector of the camera. So let's try with that as a base. It will be from the same direction. Well, I'm using the forward vector of the camera, but when I use it just as is, I think it's going from... It's getting that forward vector, but it's setting it from the world origin, if that makes sense. It's getting the rotation, but it's not getting like the location part, so... It's a very weird value, I think. I'm not sure. That's what it seems to be anyway. So I'm going to add... Just got to split that, plug that in. And then from there... Because with that, I multiply that forward vector by so much. Add it to this. I did like a slight bit of randomization for a bullet spread before, but that kind of just moves it left or right up on the screen. It doesn't... Actually, maybe that's exactly what I need. Let's just copy this and see if I can get this to work. So, plug that there. Plug that. Let's recombine this just to make it easier. And then plug that into there. And then rather than random float in range, we're just going to get that random float and plug it into these. Let's try that. Can you? What, with like the line trace? No. Neat. I think that's the difference, is like this is... Like with that, if you know how to code, it's very... With this, it's like you're kind of restricted by what the boxes let me do. That's how it feels. It seems to now be going back on itself. Because I think the blue line... Oh, hang on, I haven't even pressed L, that's why. So give myself the perk. Yeah, so now it's coming directly from where the camera starts, which is... Okay. It starts at that point. So rather than adding, I'm going to multiply. try this. No, once again, that just goes to the origin. Damn it. But if I just plug it through... Well, now it just comes out from my main character like it's another line trace. What? Gets the forward vector of the camera, gets the world location. And I need to multiply it for a distance. To a flow. So that's 1,000. That's also not doing what it's supposed to. Gets the forward vector. Oh, I know what I'm doing wrong, I think. Where is it? So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm getting the forward vector and adding it to the world location, then multiplying it. What I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to multiply it before adding it. So if I scratch that, plug that in there, then plug that in there, and then we end that. Then we do L. Nope, that didn't change a thing, never mind. Because I'm multiplying the wrong value, that's why. Yeah, so I've got back to where I was before. If I can make it go forwards, I just need to change that endpoint. But what if I instead set a rotator? If I get that, split that, it goes X, Y. I want to change the roll, I think. Get the axis. Add as a float 90 and then set it, split that, No, because they're vectors now. Gets the direction vector after this rotation. I don't want... I want to change the rotation. Really? Okay. Oh, what the hell? How the hell? How you manage that? That seems like a lot easier with Unity than what I'm doing. Okay, but so how did you do that? Got the direction. Okay. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying, but it doesn't work as well on this. Get the so I've got the so I got the forward camera, so like it out, and then you just added the angle on afterwards. So add. So this will give me like the line of the camera out. So I guess the world for this it's like you got to get the world location. I got the forward vector of the camera. I multiplied it by this, and added this to get like from where the camera is. It's kind of goes out. It shoots outwards from that point. But I can change that rather than world location to be this, where it's the impact point, and that should work. Yeah, so from where that impact point is, it will shoot out another line cast. And then... So you said like you only the first value was the random one, so is that the X value for you? Let's try that. Let's just split that. X, Y, Z. And that's been added, so then we just put that there and see if it goes in a random direction. It's hard to say. I think it's because it might be a low value. But at the very least, it's not going to the world origin anymore. So what if, rather than... Because I think the problem with random values, it can get like any value. So what if rather than... Nah, I can clamp it, but I've just done random value. So I'm going to do a clamp. So, random value. Random, not integer, float in range. So let's have like a minimum of, I guess, 90 for 90 degrees and 180. I'll just see if that does anything. Let's see if this works. seems to... It's a bit weird because it seems to like going out in certain directions depending on where I am. So if I'm like this side, it likes going. Hang on. It likes going to the right of the character, whereas if I'm on this side, it seems to always want to go in that direction until it gets to here. Then it goes in that direction. See, I just want it to come off at, like, basically, I want it to hit the enemy, and it comes off at 2 specific angles. I just need to get it so I can get those, add those angles. I know, it should be something simple. This is what I hate about, like, Unreal, is it feels like the most simplest things are the most annoying things to do. It's the one thing I really don't like about this engine. So that gets the length. That gets the starting point. And I need to rotate it left or right. So let's just try... I'm going to just try changing the X and plugging in the rest. I want to see what that does. Okay, Y, plug that in, plug that in. No, wait. I just want to change the X, so I want to plug that into there, and the rest can come directly from that. No, D needs to plug. Add that onto that. Plug that in there. So I'm just adding that random float to the X now. I want to see what that does. Sorry? Okay. See, if I only add it to that, it doesn't seem to do much. If I add it to the Y, just the X and Y, let's just try that. Rather than adding a random value, I'm just going to add like a flat value for now. Just because I want it to come out at a specific angle. So let's just get random value, and this random value have a default value of 90. You think you found something? Okay. 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 Yeah, I just need to change add on. Oh, that's probably it, isn't it? It's only going in. That's probably why. Because the way I've. Well, my thing's not even coming out now. Oh, because I've disconnected the line trace. Whoops. I think you're right with the whole negative numbers thing. So I think what's happening is because I'm only shooting one raycast, well, line trace in this case, but because I'm shooting one, depending on the way I'm looking, depends if it goes left or right. Because if it goes like adds 90 to it at a certain angle, it flips it, and now it's like the other side of it because of the way. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's so maybe what I need to do is to get it to like kind of do what I want is because I think this is on the right track now. So if I set this to random value just to like 120, so it's a fairly wider angle. Compile, save. And then I do another line trace. Which is basically the same, but this one has like the opposite. So rather than plus 90, it's minus 120. Would it be? Would I just add the negative number instead? So if I do that, get the Y, get the X. Just go duplicate this value for now. And just is that just from like one direction? Yeah, I don't. That's kind of what I want, yeah. Yeah. From the impact point, it sprays outwards. I think it's a bit more difficult in something like Unreal. Unfortunately, I think because this is less math focused. But I do want to see now if I get. I think I might have figured out on this engine, maybe. So if I get L. All right. I think I've kind of got it. I just need to make the. I think I have. Never mind. It was working in every other. It works in every other direction, except for like this one for some reason, where it just condenses forwards. No, because I haven't set this to random. I've actually just set it to straight up variables now. It's just minus 120 and 120. So one angle, what it will shoot one cast with adding 120, and it will shoot one from adding minus 120. which is taking away actually, so I should just use triple tracks. Think about it. But I don't know why from this specific angle it doesn't want to work, but from every other angle. I don't think they are in Unreal, because the way I could try, yeah, I could try that. I could try adding one rather than random, just one and minus one. Let's give that a go. I don't think it works the same in Unreal. Unfortunately, I think Unreal is kind of just like, it's more coordinate based, I think. So it's probably something to do with like this specific angle being like, I don't know. I'm really struggling with this. Yeah, that's... Yeah, sure. Build like a thing with the aerodynamics. Okay. What is it like, going to complete random directions? Game development, what? Just trying to get it to work. Oh, that's cool. And you can just move it around. Maybe... would like check if it's viable. Okay. That's always the case with like game development. Is it's always like something that seems should in theory be simple. It takes ages to figure out. Because that is... I've had that quite a lot. I've had it with on this. There's a weird bug with the sequencer, which is the like cutscene tool that Unreal has. And I don't know if it will work if I try and show it, but so in sequencer you can attach objects to each other so that when you move one, the other moves with it in the animation. But what tends to happen for me is, let's say I get this enemy here, and I add him to the sequence, and I also add this cube, and I want to... How do I even attach things? It's been so long. I think I want to attach SM cube, and now he's gone because he's you see how he's just like disappeared. It's because he's gone somewhere like really far away for no reason as soon as I attach him, which isn't what's supposed to happen. The same, I think, if I do So I attach, because all I want to do is like I want to like attach this to the enemy on the right hand socket, and no, look, it's gone. And then you go on like this massive hunt trying to find where this has gone, and it ends up like sending it. It sends it really far away. There is a way to focus on it. I completely forgot this shortcut. Oh yeah, there. Yeah, it's gone all the way over here. Why is it over here? And I've looked this up, and some people have it, and some people just don't. And I've had this in like every version of Unreal. Because what it's supposed to do is, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to like, if I go preserve current maybe, and then I go attach enemy, hips. Yeah, even then it just disappears. Now it's below here. And I mean, if I move it back into place, it will be fine, and it moves with the character, but it shouldn't happen. And it's happened in every version of Unreal, and no matter what I've looked up, I can never find a fix for it. So I just have to make deal with it. Which is, it's not fun. No, they all just constantly like slam into each other and send each other flying. Okay. They don't know existing. What? It just deletes it. Oh, it's underneath. So it like shoves it through the floor. Okay, that's something I've got to look out for. They will just collide into each other and just pass through each other because they didn't know what to do. Oop. Nope, they're just passing through each other. I guess it's because the engine's just not sure what to do with it. Yeah. Because it's like so small. I know in certain cases I've heard that like if your map's like really big in Unity, and you get so far from like the world origin, things just start breaking. Yeah, it's probably in this end. It's probably in this engine as well. When they get too big. And then start getting like janky. Got you. Right, well, with my for this thing, Honestly, I'm a bit lost. I get it to like somewhat work, and then right after, if turns out it's not working as it should, which is a pain. So I think what I'm gonna do is, I think I'm just gonna have to like, or even there's gotta be someone online, surely, somewhere. Hell, maybe even ChatGPT. Will know like a way of fixing this, like for Unreal, because by the sounds of it, the way it works in Unity and Unreal is just ever so slightly different. So for Unity, the vectors seem to work a little differently than they do in Unreal. Or it might not be that. It might just be I can't find the right nodes to get it to do what you're doing. But either way, thanks. Yeah, sure. Shoot it a message. How to rotate. How to rotate a line trace, I guess. Switch into context. I can imagine that's fairly intensive then, right? That can't be that. Can't be that bad then. I've not really delved into the AI stuff too much, to be honest. I have asked it a question in the past, and it did actually solve my problem. So maybe I should ask it again. Thinking about it. Yeah, I think that'll be right. This is where it comes back in like C. Might be because you got some stuff open and it's just taking a lot bit longer. It just doesn't know what. Maybe it doesn't know what Unreal is. Nah, definitely does. I've asked ChatGPT questions. There's a few issues I've had thinking about like with blueprinting in the past that I imagine wouldn't be so bad to solve if I was just using like C or Unity's like code. For example, I had like I originally wanted this game to have multiplayer in it. That was a mess. It was a nightmare in this. I had this weird problem of if I shoot an enemy when the main host player wasn't looking, the enemy wouldn't get damaged. Even if I sent that code, like the command to the server, or like I did everything, like to replicate the thing on the server, it just didn't do it. I don't know how that I don't know how that translates to something like this because it's so visually based rather than like actual code. To get a random point. Hey, you use it in Unreal Engine. Do you mean Unity? I mean, it's showing it in C sharp, and then unit sphere. What? So you got a random point from a sphere? Oh, hang on a minute. Can I do that in this? Because we can. I can make a sphere. Mind you, in this it's a sphere trace. Make sphere. Sphere center, sphere radius. It's still Unity. I think it just really loves Unity. Rotation matrix. Problem is that's can you say like visual scripting? Can you do that? It might not show it, but it might speak through it. Okay, now it's just saying how to. Hopefully. Open your level scene. Apply the rank in the window. Oh, for God's sake! Hey, here's how you do it in visual scripting. Don't do it in visual scripting. Literally add it in to see. What? What's this one for? Okay. Here's the solution. Bin the visual scripting. Here's a solution. Don't do it. Yeah, I think with visual, I'll have to look into it more with visual scripting, and if I can't, and I just have to maybe just learn a bit of C just to get it to work. It's C sharp, isn't it? I think. The only time I've ever coded, was in high school. We did a thing in, I think it was HTML, or which was just like a traffic light sequence. So you press a button, and it would. It might be that or Java. I can't remember. It ran on like a website, but it was just like it was a website. With all it had on it was just a button and pictures of a traffic light that would change in the sequence of like a traffic light. That's what like our. That's all I know in terms of actual coding, and I've completely forgot it because it was like 7 years ago. A bullet's okay. Hey, this is out of my expertise. this is like Unreal's actual coding. Jesus, no effect, weak effect. What are you about effects for? What? Make the bullet spread. Now it's got about weak effect and no effect. You achieve however, some steps differ slightly. Create an adventure called Bullet Hit. Oh, for God's sake! Yeah, this is the. Oh, mate. I think it's the exact same thing. I don't even know how in Unreal Engine you even access the C# part of it, or the C++ even. I don't even know how you access that. This is C++, was it? In the yeah. Wherever that is. It just keeps going to the default. Custom events is basically how half of these things fire off. So whenever custom events in Unreal isn't so much. It's just another way of beginning like a event strip. So it's like when a player gets damaged, you still need something to fire off that custom event, but it's like because by default the only ways to fire off events is stuff like if this overlaps with this or if you click a button. Whereas what custom events will do is like this whole fire event is a custom event. Well, it's a function actually, but the status component receive like handling all the damage stuff. That's a custom event. You basically and it just tells you the same thing. Yeah, so basically it just says go make it. Jesus. I might have a play around with ChatGPT myself in a bit, as well as like I think I'll just go on like the Unreal forums and see if I can get anyone's help on it. Because I think ChatGPT, or maybe like a Discord or something. Because I think ChatGPT is brilliant for like figuring out traditional coding. It seems to not be able to do anything with visual scripting at the moment. Yeah, at the moment it just can't seem to like help at all with it. You tell it to do visual scripting, it would just tell you to go back into C++. A strong effect. What's the effects? Why do we have effects? We just want it to scatter. Is it saying like it will depend on the scatter effect? Right, well, I've got to get going, so I've got to end the stream actually. Unfortunately, but awesome. Also, thank you so much for helping with the trying to help with this. Yeah, but like you give me a lot of insight as well into like how Unity works, and I really do want to give it a go at one point. Maybe. I don't think that's gonna work out well. I'd have to spend so long getting everything to work and learning how to code, but now it's nice talking to you. Thank you. See you. Well, it's like middle of the day over here, so it's very different times. See you. Right. Yeah. So that's the end of the stream. I'm gonna try and figure this stuff out over the course of today when I'm done with what I'm doing. See you all tomorrow. Bye. Hopefully I'll have it figured out by then. And thank you, Bruce E, for the help. Honestly, it's great. Nice talking to you. See you.